Alright, this is a follow-up video to my Smith & Wesson SD40VE review on my personal channel. Um, I've put over 500 rounds through this now, and there's a few things that I noticed in the changes that I made, and we'll go over some of those changes. The main change that we need to address is the stainless steel guide rod. It does come factory with the polymer guide rod, which I do now have in there, and I'll go over why. When I installed this, I immediately noticed that the spring was much lighter. I fired, I'd say, two magazines through it with Magpul ammo, or no, Magtech ammo, I'm sorry. Basically the cheapest ammo I could find. I didn't have any cycling problems through those 2 rounds, and then my 16-year-old son fired a magazine through, or put a magazine through. He had 5 failure to feed issues in a 14-round magazine. After that, I used the same magazine with the same ammunition type and still had 3 malfunctions myself. On my personal channel, somebody had made a comment that they spoke with a representative from Smith & Wesson about the stainless steel guide rod and its use in this particular firearm, and they do not recommend a stainless steel guide rod because the polymer guide rod is designed to flex with the gun when it's fired. Stainless steel, of course, will not flex and can cause damage to the frame. So this is going in my gun drawer. One of the other changes that I made, these were the factory polymer sights. As you can see, they're just plain old white three white dot sights. They don't even have an indentation on there. They look more, not even like dominoes. Dominoes even have an indentation. But I didn't like them too much, and I wanted night sights, so I went with the True Glow tritium fiber optic sights. Let's see if you can see them very well there. That's how they look in the light, and we'll shut the light off. You can get a pretty good idea of the sight picture there. There's another review of those True Glow tritium fiber optic sights. By the way, these are made for the M&P. It will say specifically on the box that they can be used on the SD40 and the SD9. However, it does say excluding VE. I took a chance, bought them, had a gunsmith install them, and they're fine. So even though it says excluding VE, they do work fine on the SD40VE. You probably noticed the other thing I changed out was the rear slide plate. It does come with a polymer slide plate. I wanted a little flared, so I got a billet aluminum one with a biblical inscription on it. In case you can't see there, it's Matthew 5:9. And if you're not familiar with 5:9, read your Bible. It does come with 2 magazines. I bought a third one for about 40 or 50 bucks. I'll probably end up buying 2 more, just because I like to have a lot of ammunition at the ready. I've also changed up the type of ammo I use. I'm now using the TAC XPD, Critical Duty, and Spear Gold Dot. I don't stagger them anymore either. I just keep full of each. 14 rounds of the TAC XPD, 14 rounds of Critical Duty, and 14 rounds of the Spear Gold Dot. And the one in the chamber, I started off with the TAC XPD. Let's go ahead and do a breakdown here. Pull that back just a little bit. Pull down on these just like you do with the Glock. Oh, I didn't quite get it. There we go. Breaks down real easy. Give that a little push and pull. That comes right out. Now I do clean my firearm after every use, whether I put 50 rounds through, whether I put 100, or whether I put 200. I clean it every time. See that we're getting a little bit of wear there on the feed ramp. I might need to polish that down some. All of this is normal wear and tear from use. Inside of the barrel's looking good. Inside the slide, nice and clean, well oiled. When you clean these, of course, I put a small bead of gun oil along the rail, and I also put a little gun oil on each of the metal contacts. Everything in there looks to be functioning well. And to put it back together, it's the same way you took it apart. Just put your barrel in like so. Make sure that you have the little end going into the hole. Give it a little push. And just like that, you're ready to rock again. I do notice that that spring is much heavier, and I think that's probably why I was having the cycling errors. In reflection, I don't think it was the cheap ammo. I'm thinking it was that upgraded spring and guide rod assembly. I noticed right away that that spring was much lighter. This is a much heavier spring, and to push these heavy rounds all the way up into the feed ramp and into the chamber probably takes that heavier spring. So we'll take it out next weekend and see how it fires. I mean, I already know how it fires with the polymer guide rod. Never had any malfunctions at all when I had the polymer guide rod. The only issues I ever had with the firearm was once I changed up to that stainless steel guide rod. So forget what I said before. Stainless steel guide rod for this particular firearm, bad idea. And that's going to do it for today's Jacketed Hollow Points. Thank you for watching, and please give us a like and subscribe.